The phone rang. I picked it up, and Sean's furious roar blasted through the receiver. Liam, don't get cocky. I'm telling you, the living can't compete with the dead. You think Bianca Evans loves you so much. Just wait. After I'm gone, let's see if she loves you the same way. I laughed into the phone. Go ahead, give it a shot. See if she follows you to the grave. A psychotic cackle echoed from the other end. Liam, you just watch. A whoosh of wind howled through the speaker, followed by a dull, heavy thud. The line went dead. I stood before the floor-to-ceiling window, stretching in the sunlight. The psycho was finally dead. Bianca, I thought, I can't wait to see how you react. Bianca and I were married for 7 years. To the outside world, she was madly in love with me. She always said I was the one who'd been with her from the beginning, when she had nothing, and now that she was worth hundreds of millions, she wanted to give me the best of everything. The proud, cold so everyone else saw became a docile kitten in my presence. I'd always thought I had found the right person. That is, until our anniversary a month ago, when I received a video from her assistant, Sean Wong. A video of him and Bianca. That's when I learned that the woman who supposedly loved me to obsession, who put me on a pedestal, was nothing but a piece of trash. In the video, Bianca's desperate, clinging movements and loud cries showed me a side of her I'd never seen. A wildness that shattered the calm, self-possessed woman I thought I knew. A message from Sean followed immediately. How about that? The great CEO says she loves you most, but she can't live without me. If I were you, I'd step aside and give up the husband title gracefully. I was silent, my heart feeling like it was being sliced apart by a razor. I couldn't understand why. The woman who chased me for a year, who loved me so fiercely she wanted to give me the entire world. How could she do this behind my back? Was it really the 7-year itch? Was she just bored? She could have just asked for a divorce. There was no need to pretend she was devoted to me while sleeping with another man. I remembered that very morning, as Bianca was leaving, she told me today was our 7th anniversary and that she had a surprise for me. I've been looking forward to it all day. I never imagined this was the surprise she meant. I sat on the couch in silence, swallowed by a bitter wave of grief. At 7 p.m., the front door opened. Bianca walked in, surprised to see me sitting in the dark. Honey, why are the lights off? She flipped the switch and walked over, kneeling to look up at my face. In front of others, she was always the one in charge, but with me, she loved to look up at me like this. She called it adoration, admiration. When I didn't speak, she reached for my forehead. I swatted her hand away. I'm fine, just tired, but you took the day off. What's wrong? Trouble at the studio? I nodded, letting her believe it. Seeing I was okay, she pulled out a box like a kid showing off a treasure. She opened it and held it up to me. Honey, surprise. I looked. It was the watch I'd been obsessing over a month ago, one that hadn't been released in the States yet. She must have gone abroad to buy it. I just couldn't figure her out. She was cheating on me, so why was she still putting on this act of being the deeply loving wife? I took the watch and nodded. It's a great surprise. I love it. My coldness must have gotten to her. She quickly sat beside me. Honey, did something happen? You seem down. Are you not feeling well? I still hadn't decided how to handle this, so I just dodged. I'm okay, just a long day. Seeing no major change in my mood, she patted my hand. You rest, honey. I'll go make dinner. It's our anniversary. I'll make a few of your favorites to celebrate. She got up and went to the kitchen. Watching her bustling around, a deep sense of powerlessness washed over me. You're still playing the perfect wife? So why did you cheat? Where is your heart? Is it in this home, or is it somewhere else? Soon, dinner was on the table. She sat across from me, putting food on my plate, watching me eat with unblinking eyes, waiting for praise. I chewed slowly. It all tasted like cardboard, but I forced a smile and told her cooking was getting better and better. Bianca beamed, as if she'd received the highest compliment in the world. After dinner, just like every year, she turned on the TV and played our wedding video. On the screen, when Bianca heard me say I do, she clung to me, sobbing uncontrollably, holding me so tight as if she'd just gained the whole world. She swore to my parents that, after them, she would be the person who loved me most. She whispered to me, Honey, I'm yours for life. You'll never get rid of me. Back then, I tapped her on the nose and told her solemnly, If you never leave me, I will be with you until death do us part. She was so moved she hugged me tighter, promising in my ear, I won't. I don't want anyone but you. How ironic. Vows are as light as paper, blown away by the first gust of wind. Who would believe in promises that could vanish so easily? I, the fool, had believed for 7 years. If it wasn't for Sean's video, I'd still be believing. Watching the video, Bianca started to cry. She rested her head on my lap, asking coyly, Honey, look how in love we were. We'll keep loving each other, right? I fought back my disgust and nodded. In bed, Bianca held me tight, whispering sweet nothings in my ear. Normally, I would have been all over her, but now her touch made my skin crawl. I said patiently, Not tonight. I'm tired, not feeling great. You saw me when you got home. Let's just get some sleep. She nuzzled the back of my neck. All right, I'll let you off the hook tonight. Get some rest. We'll go 300 rounds when you've got your strength back. I turned my back to her, smirking in the dark. Bianca, did Sean not wear you out enough? You're insatiable. The thought of you touching me now makes me sick. What makes you so confident I'd still want you? She fell asleep quickly. I slipped out of bed and went to the balcony, sinking into the outdoor sofa. I lit a cigarette and stared silently at the night sky. If I tried to walk away, Bianca would never let me go. Divorcing her seemed impossible right now. How could I get out of this marriage? As I sat there, a plan began to form. The next morning, Bianca was up early as usual, making breakfast before waking me. After we ate, she told me she had an important meeting that night and that I shouldn't wait for her. She'd have dinner delivered from a restaurant. I nodded silently. After she left, I went to my studio. I studied computer science in college. After graduation, to help Bianca start her company, I turned down lucrative offers from major tech firms and became the CTO at her company. It took 5 years for the company to get on its feet. She said seeing me work around the clock was too hard on her, so she told me to go home and rest. She would handle the money-making, and all I had to do was wait for the dividends. Bianca was never cheap with me. She gave me 40% of the company's stock, a reward, she said, for all my years of hard work. We were equal partners. I couldn't stay idle at home. A few months later, I reconnected with a college friend, and we opened the studio. We thought it would just be for fun, but then one of our games blew up. The studio became a massive success, and now major industry players were lining up to partner with us. At the studio, I called my CFO and asked how much liquid capital we had. She said our funds were more than sufficient. I nodded, then summoned the director of marketing and told him to start acquiring all the floating stock of Innovatech Solutions. Innovatech was Bianca's and my company. After it went public, 10% of its shares were on the open market. I wanted all of them. That way, when the time came to confront Bianca, I'd be in an unassailable position. The director was stunned. He asked why I was buying up our own company's stock. I waved him off without an explanation. Just do as I say. He nodded and left. A little later, my partner and best friend, Chris Shaw, came into my office. Liam, I don't get what you're doing. Are you trying to drive up the stock price with Bianca so you can sell the company? I shook my head. Chris and I had no secrets. I smiled. Bianca's cheating on me. I'm planning to take back Innovatech. Chris burst out laughing. Liam, Bianca? Cheating? You gotta be kidding me. Every woman on earth could cheat, but not Bianca Evans. See, that's how good her act was. After a moment, Chris saw I was still just smiling at him, and his face turned serious. Liam, you're not serious, are you? I nodded. Chris exploded. Son of a bitch. Was all that devotion a lie? Even I was fooled by her damn Oscar-worthy performance. I didn't say anything. Maybe she had loved me once. Who knew? It didn't matter now. I told Chris to keep it quiet. He thumped his chest. Don't worry. My lips are sealed. I clapped him on the shoulder. When I got home that evening, Bianca had already ordered dinner from a restaurant, all my favorite dishes. As I ate, I mindlessly scrolled through my phone. A message from Sean came through. Another video. I opened it. This time, the location was Bianca's executive office. Sean was holding Bianca on her desk, going at it. Even though I'd already made my decision, watching the video still sent a pang through my heart, but it was duller than yesterday. Sean's messages followed. I told you the CEO loves me best. Kept me late for some overtime. Surprise. Isn't our special project exciting? I ignored his taunts, turned off my phone, put down my fork, cleared the table, and went to bed. At midnight, the sound of the door opening woke me. Bianca was back. I heard the bedroom door open and felt her standing there, watching me for a long time. I figured it was because I wasn't waiting on the couch for her like I usually did. I didn't move, pretending to be asleep. After a while, she showered, got into bed, and wrapped her arms around me from behind. "Honey, why weren't you waiting for me in the living room? Still not feeling well." I didn't answer. I heard her sigh, and then there was silence. The next day was Saturday. We were both home. Bianca got a call and hurriedly told me, "Honey, something's come up at the office. I have to go take care of it." I watched her silently for a moment before speaking slowly. What could be so important that the CEO has to handle it herself? Bianca paused with her hand on the doorknob. She turned back, stammering, "I'm sorry, honey. There's just so much going on at work lately, and it's all critical. I'll be back before you know it. You be good and wait for me here." She left without another glance. Her non-answer was all the answer I needed. I sneered at myself. How can you stop someone whose heart has already wandered away? Sure enough, a few minutes later, I got a video from Sean. A hotel room. Bianca was leaning against a mirror while Sean stood behind her. Seeing the ecstatic look of pure lust on her face and Sean's smug grin, I felt only a flicker of emotion. The more I saw of her depravity, the faster my love for her died. Bored, I shut off my phone. I didn't even have the energy to see what inflammatory message Sean had sent this time. 2 hours later, Bianca came home. I was surprised she was back so soon. Usually, her sessions with Sean lasted 4 or 5 hours. Seeing that I was ignoring her, she sidled up to me. "Honey, see how good I am. I came right back as soon as I was done." I gave her a sarcastic look. "Finished with your work at the office? That was fast. I was worried you wouldn't get your fill." Bianca looked at me nervously. "What do you mean, not get my fill? Where else would I go? You can't just accuse me like that. I'm the person who loves you most in this world. You can't break my heart." Remembering my plan, I wanted to slap myself. I had almost blown everything just for a moment of satisfaction. I softened my tone, ruffling her hair. "Silly, I meant you're such a workaholic. I know working for just a little while isn't enough for you." Bianca eyed me with suspicion, so I quickly changed the subject. "I'm just sitting around at home these days, and the studio doesn't really need me. Maybe I should come back to the office. What do you think? That way you wouldn't have to be so busy." Bianca looked at me intently. "But you have such a good life now. Tending to your plants, reading, dropping by the studio. I envy you, living the dream. I'm the one who's destined to work, slaving away for you. But I'm happy to do it for my husband." I smiled and picked up the thread. "I can't bear to see you working so hard for me. Besides, I need to keep an eye on you. If someone snatched up my amazing wife, where would I go to cry?" Bianca's expression changed instantly. Her voice rose. "Why are you being so weird lately? You don't think I'm cheating, do you? I'm telling you, any woman in the world might cheat, but not Bianca Evans. I will only ever love you." Looking at her righteous indignation, I laughed inwardly. "You're a hell of an actress, Bianca. No wonder psychologists say the guiltier people are, the louder they talk. Your nerves aren't as steady as you think." I ignored her outburst and asked calmly, "So, will you let me come back to the company or not?" Bianca shouted, "If you want to come back, then come back. The company belongs to both of us anyway. I'll let you see for yourself whether I have anyone on the side." With that, she stormed upstairs. It was the first real fight of our marriage. I decided it was enough. From now on, I had to control myself. Pointless arguments were meaningless. I had already given up on her. The next day, I went back to the company and headed to the CEO's office to see Bianca. Her secretary informed me that the CEO had left on a business trip to Miami that morning with her assistant, Sean. I had to admire Bianca's decisiveness. She knew she couldn't have us both in the same city. She was obviously planning to ship her lover off to the Miami branch. Sure enough, Bianca was gone for a week. During that time, Sean sent me a variety of videos of their trysts in the hotel living room, on the couch, in the bedroom, the bathroom. Bianca was an enthusiastic participant in all of them. I watched, my heart a flatline. I knew I had completely detached myself from her. It was time to put an end to our 7-year marriage. But I needed Bianca to divorce me out of guilt. Only then could I maximize my gains. The director of marketing in my studio informed me that he had acquired all 10% of the floating stock. I moved on to the next phase of my plan. That night, I drove to Bianca's hotel in Miami and checked into her room. The next morning, I stood at the hotel entrance and called her. Her lazy voice came through the phone. "What is it, honey?" "Babe, do you miss me?" I asked, forcing down my disgust. "Of course I do. I love you more than anything. We haven't seen each other in a week. I miss you like crazy." "Really? I miss you too. I have a surprise for you. I'm right outside your door. Open up." The phone immediately filled with the sounds of chaos. After a long pause, Bianca's voice, a mix of annoyance and delight, came through. "You liar. You're not here." I laughed. "I was kidding. I'm downstairs, in front of your hotel. Look out the window." A moment later, the curtains parted, and Bianca peeked out. She spotted me instantly. On the phone, she told me to stay put, that she was coming right down. It took a full 10 minutes before she rushed out of the elevator. She came up to me, unable to meet my eyes, and asked guiltily, "What are you doing here?" I looked at her. "I missed you, of course. What took you so long? You're not hiding someone in there, are you?" Bianca playfully slapped my arm. "Of course not. You just came so suddenly. If you told me you missed me, I would have come back right away. You didn't have to make the trip." She looked up at me, her eyes filled with love, gratitude, and most importantly, guilt. Perfect. Guilt was exactly what I wanted. "You're working so hard. I couldn't bear to make you travel back and forth. It's better for me to come to you. By the way, where's your assistant? Didn't he come to Miami with you?" I asked, feigning casualness. Bianca's face tensed. "Honey, he's just an assistant. He wouldn't be staying with me. I've already arranged for him to take a position at the Miami branch. He's going to be a project manager to get some experience. He's quite capable." I had to suppress a sneer. A fresh college graduate. What kind of capability did he have, other than his performance in bed? I nodded. "Is your work here done?" Seeing I wasn't pressing the issue of her assistant, Bianca let out a long breath. "It is. I was planning to head back today anyway. I haven't seen you in a week. I missed you so much." She snuggled up and linked her arm through mine. I didn't call her out. I led her to the car, and we started the drive home. In the passenger seat, Bianca chattered happily. Suddenly, a notification popped up on her phone, which was mounted for navigation. I glanced at it. It read, "B, why did you leave me at the hotel alone? Where did you go?" It was from someone named Sean. Bianca snatched the phone, looking at me awkwardly. I pretended not to have seen. "Who was that?" "More work trouble." Bianca breathed a sigh of relief. "It's nothing important. I'll just reply and let them handle it." She then started texting her little lover. After a while, noticing my silence, Bianca put her phone away and looked at me. "Honey, the Miami office has been a little busy lately. I might need to come here more often." I feigned surprise. "I haven't heard about any major deals in Miami. How can it be that I, the other major shareholder, don't know about this?" Bianca quickly said, "It's a new deal, the one Sean signed a few days ago. You just got back to the company, so it's normal you wouldn't know." I nodded. "Well, I'll have to look into it when I get back. If Sean is really that talented, we should promote him." At the mention of Sean, Bianca became a fountain of praise, telling me all about his supposed talents. I played along, agreeing with her, but inside I was sneering. Keep building them up. The higher they climb, the harder they fall. When we got home, Bianca said she was tired and wanted a rest. I let her be and went to the office alone. I sought out Mr. Peterson, the man who had invested in us in the early days. Mr. Peterson was the CEO of the company where I'd interned. He had seen my potential back then and tried hard to get me to stay, offering an incredible salary. But at the time, all I could think about was building a company with Bianca, so I turned him down. Later, when our company ran into financial trouble, Mr. Peterson, out of respect for me, invested $2 million. I wanted to give him 20% of the shares, but he refused, taking only 10. He said he believed in me, that I would make the company huge, and 10% would be more than enough. I told Mr. Peterson everything about Bianca's affair and my plan to take over the company. He was fully supportive and agreed to sell me his 10% stake for the original $2 million. I gave him $30 million, the current market value. I wasn't short on cash. The studio was making a fortune, and I couldn't let down someone who had helped me. With everything settled, I went home. Bianca was in the bedroom on the phone. "Don't worry, I know you'll be good. I love you so much. I bought you a condo and a car here in Miami. See, I take care of you, don't I?" What followed was a string of nauseating pet names and promises. This was perfect. The more Sean had, the more painful it would be when he lost it all. I sat on the couch, calculating my next move. Bianca came out for a glass of water and saw me. She quickly hung up, asking nervously, "Honey, when did you get back? You were so quiet." I smiled at her. "Just got here. I saw you were on the phone, so I didn't want to disturb you." Bianca's hand, holding her phone, trembled. I kept smiling. "Why so nervous? You weren't whispering sweet nothings to your lover, were you?" "Of course not." "Honey, you're teasing me again? I've told you, for the rest of my life, you're the only one for me. Don't let your imagination run wild." My smile vanished. I looked at her calmly. "Good, because if you ever do cheat on me, you'd better tell me. We can have an amicable split. But if you hide it from me, I will make sure you walk away with nothing." Bianca immediately raised her hand as if taking an oath. "If I ever cheat on you, I'll give you all of my 40% of the stock. I'll leave with nothing." I nodded. "Good. Remember that." She sidled up to me, clinging and cooing, trying to win me over. Perhaps out of guilt, or maybe fear that I'd discover something, Bianca didn't go back to Miami. Instead, she became even more attentive, bringing me gifts every day, coming home early to cook dinner, and waiting for me. I took pictures of the gifts and the meals she made and sent them to Sean. He responded with a torrent of curses. When I didn't reply, he started calling Bianca nonstop. She didn't pick up once. Finally, a week later, I came home to find Sean and Bianca in a confrontation by the front door. He was trying to hug her, and she was shoving him away forcefully. He looked at her with pleading eyes, saying something I couldn't hear. Bianca's face suddenly turned ugly. She pointed a finger at him, her voice dripping with rage. "Who do you think you are? You're just a plaything I keep on the side. How dare you show up here? I sent you to Miami so my husband wouldn't find out about you. How dare you come back without my permission? Now get the hell back to Miami." Just then, I got out of my car. Bianca's face went pale with panic when she saw me. Sean, however, gave me a defiant look. I paid him no mind and asked Bianca who he was. She said he was the project manager for Miami, Sean Wong, here to report on his work. I feigned surprise. "I've heard Bianca talk about you. She said you're young and talented, that you landed a huge project for the company right after you got to Miami. Come on, don't just stand there. Come inside." I opened the door and politely invited him in. Bianca followed behind me, a nervous wreck. I turned back to her. "It's after hours. There's no boss or employee here. Sean is our guest. Go make him some of your famous iced tea." Bianca walked to the kitchen, looking back every few steps, terrified Sean would say something he shouldn't. I looked at Sean and said cordially, "Bianca may be the CEO, but at home, she's a model wife. She never even lets me in the kitchen. You've never had her cooking, have you? It's better than what you get at a five-star restaurant." Sean's eyes were full of jealousy as he stared at the wall of photos. Our wedding portrait, pictures of us from college through our marriage, a chronicle of our happiness. His face contorted with rage. He lowered his voice. "Stop pretending. I don't believe you don't know who I am. You saw the videos I sent you. You think I believe you can just stomach that?" I watched him with a cold smile. So young, so naive. If he hadn't shown up at my door, I might have waited a bit longer to deal with him. But since he delivered himself to me, he had no one to blame but himself. Suddenly, he smirked. "Want to make a bet? Let's see who Bianca really loves." I watched, amused, as he put on his show. Sean suddenly slammed his head against the coffee table. Thump! Blood trickled from his forehead as he collapsed pathetically to the floor. Hearing the noise, Bianca rushed out of the kitchen. Sean immediately put on a wounded expression. "Ms. Evans, I was just telling Mr. Miller how beautiful you are, and he pushed me down for no reason." He looked at Bianca, his eyes full of hope. I had a laugh. Without a word, Bianca marched over and slapped him across the face. Sean clutched his cheek, staring at her in disbelief. "My husband would waste his time on trash like you. You think you're worthy? You think I'm beautiful for your benefit? Get the hell out of my house." Bianca screamed, her usual cool, sophisticated demeanor gone, replaced by the fury of a cornered animal. I stepped in and put a hand on her arm. Actually, I did push him. Bianca looked at me, horrified, terrified that Sean had said something to provoke me. I continued, "Sean told me you bought him a condo and a car in Miami. I didn't believe it at first, but he swore he wasn't lying. That's when I lost my temper and pushed him." The color drained from Sean's face. "Ms. Evans, I never said that. He's lying. Bianca finally snapped. She grabbed a glass from the coffee table and smashed it over Sean's head. I bought that as an investment. I'll let you stay there because I felt sorry for you. I'll lend you the car because the condo was too far from the office. Who gave you the nerve to try and drive a wedge between my husband and me? Get out of that condo now. Give me back the car keys and consider this your official notice. You're fired. If I ever see you near me or my husband again, I'll make you regret it. Now get out. Sean staggered to his feet, dazed. He opened his mouth to speak, but Bianca slapped him again. She was desperate now, terrified he would say something even more incriminating, something she couldn't explain away. Like a ghost, Sean left. Watching him go, Bianca let out a long sigh of relief and rushed to explain everything to me. I patted her back, comfortingly. You don't have to explain. I believe you. The weight of the world seemed to lift from her shoulders. She looked at me with a mixture of gratitude and profound guilt. With Bianca pacified, my plan for Sean began. I started to casually share stories about my life with Bianca with him. At first, when he answered my calls, he would just curse at me. That is, until I said, I'm going to divorce Bianca. Don't you want her back? That calmed him down. When he heard the story about how Bianca had a little dog for 2 years and was heartbroken when it died, still talking about it to this day, an idea sparked in his mind. That day, he called Bianca. He tried many times, but she didn't answer. When I left the house, she finally picked up, her voice annoyed. Sean's tearful voice came through the phone. If you don't come see me, I'm going to kill myself. Bianca's voice was cold as ice. Then go ahead and die. I warned you not to mess with my husband, not to fall in love with me. But you still came to my house. Who do you think you are? You were just a tool for my pleasure. I'm blocking your number. Don't ever call me again, you useless piece of trash. She hung up without a second thought. Immediately, Sean called me. I answered, and his furious roar filled my ear. Liam, don't you get too comfortable? Bianca and I are perfect for each other. You have no idea how much she loves me in bed. I'm telling you, the living can't compete with the dead. You think she still loves you? Just wait and see if she still loves you after I'm gone. I laughed coldly. Go on, try it. You die, and we'll see if she joins you. I heard Sean's crazed laughter, then the thud of something heavy hitting the ground. The shocked screams of bystanders came through the phone just as the line disconnected. I let out a long breath. One idiot. Bianca is allergic to dog hair. How could she ever own a dog? I tell you a story, and you just believe it. Not only believe it, but you try to copy it. With a brain like that, you're just wasting oxygen. I admit it was cruel, but he was the one who provoked me, who tormented me. Besides, I never told him to die. I just told him a story. The next day, the police called Bianca to inform her of Sean's death. She froze for a moment, then asked in a normal tone, He's no longer an employee of our company. Why are you telling me he's dead? The officer said it was too complicated to explain over the phone and asked her to come to the station. Bianca hesitated, looking at me for guidance. I said calmly, Go. I'll go with you. A smile instantly lit up her face. We went to the police station together. When a detective sat across from us, he looked at us uncomfortably. I nodded at him. I'm her husband. Ask whatever you need to. We'll cooperate fully. The detective nodded. He asked Bianca about her relationship with Sean. She answered calmly. He was my employee. Since he was fired, we had no relationship. He did contact me once yesterday, saying he was going to kill himself. I ignored him. I don't think I have an obligation to save him. That's not a crime, is it? The detective nodded. No, it isn't. But we recovered the data from Mr. Wong's phone. There are many videos of you and him together. He glanced at me, embarrassed. Mr. Miller, perhaps you should step outside. I smiled and shook my head. I turned to look at Bianca, whose face was as white as a sheet. There's no need. I've seen all of them. Mr. Wong was kind enough to send them to me before he died. All the strength drained out of Bianca. She slid slowly from her chair to the floor, covering her face with her hands. Tears streamed through her fingers as she began to sob, a broken, helpless sound. After the police had clarified the situation, Bianca and I left the station. The moment we were outside, I turned and slapped her hard across the face. She clutched her cheek, looking at me with lost, empty eyes. My smile was cruel. You like to sneak around, don't you? It's a thrill, isn't it? Are you so pathetic you have to throw yourself at him? Bianca shook her head desperately. No, honey, it wasn't like that. Sean seduced me. You have to believe me. I rubbed my hand, disgusted. You're a piece of trash. Of course flies are going to swarm you. We were together 4 years in college, married for 7, and all it took was some guy to crook his finger and you followed him like a dog. Bianca looked at me with utter despair. When I'd said I'd seen the videos, her last line of defense had crumbled. She knew there was no way to save our marriage. I looked down at her with contempt. Bianca, tomorrow, 9 a.m., at the courthouse. Bring your ID. Without another glance, I got in my car and drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw her standing motionless in front of the police station, her face in her hands, until her figure vanished from sight. I went home, packed up all of Bianca's things, and threw them out on the curb. The next day at 9 a.m., I was at the courthouse. Bianca was already there, still in yesterday's clothes, her hair uncombed, looking completely lost. I walked into the building, and she followed behind me like a zombie. The divorce was quick. There was no mandatory waiting period in our case. Bianca chose to leave with nothing. She signed over her 40% of the company stock to me. Maybe she thought it was compensation. I thought it was karma. After all, she was the one who swore to me, knowing full well she was cheating, that if she ever did, she would walk away with nothing. As we walked out of the courthouse, Bianca called my name. She looked at the ground and asked softly, "I've given you everything I have. Can you forgive me?" I found it almost funny. Isn't this what I deserve, Bianca? You were the one who cheated. You were the one who made the promise. She wanted to say more, but I cut her off. And don't give me any of that. Let's still be friends crap. I'm not that generous. I played along with your act for this long for one reason, to get back what was mine. I took a few steps, then turned back to where she stood frozen. By the way, Sean called me before he died. He said the living can never win against the dead. It's a shame I never got the chance to tell him the answer. If you see him someday, you can tell him for me. He really was an idiot. If he had just waited a little longer, until after our divorce, he might have actually had a chance. Then I walked away and didn't look back. I returned to the company and announced that I was the new CEO. Mr. Peterson and the staff congratulated me. I gave Mr. Peterson 10% of the company's stock. He had, after all, helped me unconditionally when I was preparing my backup plan. He tried to refuse, but eventually accepted, insisting on buying the shares back with the $30 million I had given him. He said he couldn't take them for free. I didn't argue. Life went on. I merged my studio with the company and renamed it Miller Innovations, officially cutting all ties with Bianca. With the studio's integration, the company grew rapidly. A month later, Bianca called. I answered. She said nothing. I said nothing. Just as I was about to hang up, she spoke, her voice choked with tears. "Liam, we can't go back, can we? I'm so sorry. I loved you so much, and I still hurt you. After the divorce, I don't know how to live anymore. The company is gone, you're gone. I have nothing." After a pause, she whispered, "Liam, I have to go now. I hope you don't hate me. Remember the good times. If there's a next life, I promise I won't betray you." I remained silent. I just calmly hung up the phone. The next day, I received news of Bianca's death. I rubbed my forehead, feeling a flicker of something. You can't have it too easy in life. The moment you face a real setback, you find you have no resilience at all. Bianca was the perfect example, but she was wrong about one thing. I didn't hate her, and I wouldn't remember the good times. As for the next life, I doubted we'd meet again. I still had a full life to enjoy in this one. By the time I get to the other side, she'll have been reincarnated long ago. But she and Sean shouldn't be too far apart. Here's hoping they find each other in the next life, lock it down, and stay the hell away from everyone else.